Hello, welcome to me making something poorly. Today, the thing we're going to be making poorly is some wings that are meant to be like earring things that my sister designed. They're pretty cool. Let's see if we don't mess them up. What I've done already, up to this point, is I've secured this bit of extra wasteboard here with some screws that are hopefully out of the way. And the first thing we'll do after that step is to cut a pocket for us to put the material in. And so we're going to try and put some brass that'll cut over there into that pocket as a way to kind of hold it in place from wiggling about too much. And then I'll also show you the rest of the work holding in a few minutes. So let's give that a shot and see how it turns out. Alright, so our first step, we're going to download these files that I made earlier to run the machine with, and going to initialize the machine as always. These pockets kind of take forever, so we'll probably kind of skip ahead a bit through that. But we'll set up the camera at least so you can see what that looks like. And hopefully it doesn't overheat today. The first thing we're doing is measuring this tool. Then we will need to zero our machine. Thinking somewhere in there should do us just fine for our X and Y. And we'll do our 0. And again, for a lot of these, I kind of like to go into roughly where I think the middle of the area is that I will be cutting. This doesn't super matter a lot for this particular cut because I'm just cutting a pocket, but I like to do this anyways, just to keep the habit. And cut it down until the paper is taut. Okay. I'm going to call this one paper's height above the board. Alright, and now as soon as we load that file, we should be good to go. Right. Obviously, measure the tool again, because why not? Alright, cool. We're good to go. Let's get the camera a little bit closer so you can see the action. Okay, so now we got a wonderful pocket. And for the next step, what we're going to do is a little trick passed on by generations of CNC operators. For thin metal, we have this nice flat surface and this very flexible thin metal. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some masking tape down there, masking tape on here, and then super glue or other fast drying glue them together, and that'll hold it well enough for our operations. So let's see how well we can do this without messing it up. You really want it to be wrinkle free, so you know, like not what I did. And I also like to trim the excess off. So you got decently clean edges as well. A lot of times you can just tear it, but sometimes I use the razor. All right, 50% complete. Okay, so since I know my pocket is oversized, I'm going to leave this little tab up here. Sorry for the rough camera work. Leave this little tab here so that I can use it to pull everything up when I'm done. All right, now for the fun part. Yeah. Sorry, sister, getting fingerprints on your lovely metal here. All right. So, get some super glue on top of it. That's always useful. So we'll leave that to cure just for a minute while we go off and do other things with our lives. Namely, we're going to start changing over stuff. So the first operation we have here is a little engraving. And so, let's see, load this up. We are going to do that with a different bit. So we need to change over to that. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, I have this, not paid for any product placements, so I'll hide the brand here, but I have this. It's a drag engraver, spring loaded, doink, doink, doink. And that will drag along the metal there and leave a nice gouge in it. So we need to get that loaded up, but I'm realizing I vacuumed up something I needed yesterday, so I'm going to go look for that. Please hold. All right, so surprisingly I did find the thing I needed in the vacuum. So, as you may recall, with some of our other operations where we zero our tool, it bounces off that little spring-loaded button in the corner of the machine. Now, since this thing is also spring-loaded, that presents to us a small issue. Namely, the two spring-loaded things will fully compress, and then my height will be kind of weird. I do want it to compress a little bit, right? Because I want a little bit of pressure while I'm engraving. So I 3D printed this little thing, which then I printed in the wrong dimension, so I have this little bit of tape on the side. So this, I kind of just slide over here, and it gives us a small amount of compression. And so when we come over here and load a new tool, let's see what this looks like here. Everyone compresses just a little bit. So now we have a Z measurement for this, which is slightly compressed, which is what we want, because we want a little bit of pressure as we're dragging this thing along. So I'm going to leave that on because I know the first thing that this file does is remeasure, but I do want to offset my measurements for where I want to start machining. So I'm going to go kind of in our general area again, but then tell it that my X and Y 0 is a little bit closer to the start of the metal. Okay, I'm happy with that. And then we want to do our Z-axis. Again, I'm going to go to the middle. And for this one, it's a little bit less important. I normally just go down until I get a tiny amount of compression. That's too much. Something like that. That way I know I'm getting good pressure on this. Alright, now we have our engrave file. Let's start this job. Now this one you don't turn on the machine, the router that is, as I learned, because it's a drag engraver, not a rotary engraver, which makes sense, but I don't read directions, so we've gotten where we are because of that. Alright, I'm going to switch us over to time-lapse mode and we'll watch this thing run. So, when I'm doing all this thin metal, I like to use this 1/16 end mill. This seems to work pretty well for me and very rarely messes up a lot. So, helps get into some of the detailed areas, which is nice, but it's also small, so the load on the machine is quite small as well, which this isn't a super strong one, so that's advantageous. So let's get this loaded up and then we'll start cutting and see what happens. So one thing I forgot until like literally right before I was gonna press the go button was you have to redo the height for this because it's not spring loaded, and that will mess things up quite significantly. So I'm gonna do that right now. The other advantage of this, well, paper method, and especially in an instance like this, is it means we're not going to scratch up this lovely surface as much until I do that and crash it into the plate. All right, cool. Now we've handled that. Now we'll go and run the thing. Alright, I know what you're thinking. Wipe it off already, let's go. I'm also thinking that, but with all this oil and all these little shavings and stuff, if you just go whoop, it'll definitely scratch the surface. I know this because I've done this before. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and carefully peel it off and then rinse it off in some water, and then we can do the big reveal. So hold tight, and I'll be back in a minute. Never mind, I'm actually going to show you the peel process because there's a good chance this goes poorly and we should document this. So, the wings. Woo. Now we got to get the other ones out. The actual part we care about. Again, keep in mind this is very thin metal, so you don't want to bend it too much. Nice. One. Two. Alright. I'm gonna go rinse these off and I'll be right back. Alright, are we ready for the big reveal? They came out pretty well, actually. Some highly detailed. Definitely some more cleanup will be necessary, especially because I dropped them on the floor after that. But overall, happy with it, especially these very thin sections in between the feathers on the wings. I think I was very happy that those came out and didn't self-destruct. So I think part of it was just having quite a bit of super glue on the bottom there. I think that helped because I've definitely done these before and definitely messed them up before. So this time I changed a little bit of the machining, and there was some lead-in, lead-out transition stuff that the tool was doing that I realized was probably a bad idea, so I disabled that. And so either that helped, or maybe the amount of super glue I did help, or maybe it's a combination of them. But that's it. I'm gonna now send these out to my sister, and she's gonna do some pretty sweet epoxy things and stuff with them. So maybe when she's done with that, we can add that to the end of this video so you can see what it looks like when they're all done. But that is it for today. Thanks for watching me do these to the best of my ability. Catch you later.